This is my critical reflection for Who Cares. Question 1. What was the project given to me? It was the project of Who Cares, and it was, what were your initial thoughts about the show? I thought it was interesting and I liked it. I wanted to see more about the show and go into what it is about the young carers. And that's what my initial thoughts was. I was interested about it. I wanted to see what it was. I like the concept of the Who Carers, and I liked telling people stories what nobody knows about, and it's pretty good. How was you going to approach the performance? I was going to approach it with some, intrigue into this new subject, intrigue into these persons' lives, interested in, learning about this and finding out new ways and showing their stories on the theatre, on the stage. What initial research will you need to do to fill a brief? What initial research will you need to fill a brief? The initial research do is research some people's stories online and some statistics about the certain persons, how many kids in the UK, how many kids in the UK are young carers, what exiting process complete do work like this. What existing process? I don't know the question. I can't read it. What area of research did I explain and why? What areas of research did I explain and why? I explored the research of, statistics of how much to do that, and also a little bit about the stories and about someone who has to care for them, and about how they would feel and how they would be, how things they've been, how effective. I think I got a few much of information after, I've understood more generally about the process and generally about what young carers go through and how they feel. And then about generally how they, what area of research did I find the most beneficial? I find the statistics the statistics the most beneficial, knowing that and knowing generally overall through I find the most beneficial because it can help me get an overall view of what the character, know what the character would be like, and how many people have gone through that, and generally, a lot of people would understand it a little bit more than I did at the start. Was there any additional research needed to explain my role? With the role, I just had to research a little bit of the stories about young carers to get a story for one of the help and the group help thing. What did you make in the devising process? What contributions did you make in the devising process? With the devising of the thing, we looked over different parts. I suggested some ideas, what about we do it like this at the start and all that? What about we do it what about we do it in a split screen? What about I was going to be I was going to be one of the parents in it. Sorry. What about the parents? One of the parents, and I made some divided process of what I should say and what we should do through some research about carers and young carers. What process was made during the present process? What processes were made? I was busy the day of the advising, so I couldn't do my parent, but I got moved towards a best friend, and I got put as one person who had one person who had a few problems throughout, being a young carer. One person who was a young carer. That's what changed throughout my role with the divided process. But what changed through my best friend was just a little bit being more like collegey, and through the person was I changed the words a few times because I got mixed up with words. Do you think you made significant progress with your role during the development stage? I don't know. I think I could have done more. I think I could have done more on the person who the young carer. I think I could have developed him in a different type of way. Like had him, like my story could have been a bit more fleshed out and a little bit more better than it actually, it was. It was about like, I think I had like started off like I had stress or something. I think I had like anxiety and I couldn't take care of my parent anymore, and I was just getting too much stressed and all that. And then it changed, and I was like, no. And then it changed to like my mum had like cancer or something, and it was hard to deal with her, and she's doing alright and stuff. How did your tutors and peers influence your ideas? They give us some influence ideas. They give us some ideas what to do the piece like. They give us the idea of some of the music. They give us some of the music ideas and say, well, maybe we should have some music to influence some of the scenes. Maybe this college scene should go this way. Do you think? They give us a little bit of ideas of the contributions, like the viewed what we did, talked about it towards us, talked about how we felt. Was the final tech and dress rehearsal successful? Finally, was the final tech and dress rehearsal successful? I think I wasn't here for the tech rehearsal, but I heard it went pretty successful. It went pretty good, and it was really good. And they had a decision on it. Did the overall performance go to plan? Overall, I think some of it did, and some of it we started like not, but over my students on the stage started laughing and started just because they couldn't like keep like the characters, and they started breaking out like small like laughter, and some of it just failed, and I had to sit on the stage and I had to try and hide my smile because everyone was laughing in some bits, and it was really bad. I felt really like awkward on being on stage. Did your contributions with the performance go to plan? My contributions, yeah, I think they went to plan. Sometimes I got it wrong, like the thing I said, but overall the things I did go to plan, and it all went brilliant. Were the tech and production-based problems? No, there wasn't really. The tech was fine, and the music played out, and productions. We had the right props, we had the right stuff, we had the right clothes at the right time. Will you be able to contribute a message of the piece to the audience? Yeah, I think we said it right. We said a clear message at the end. We said a clear message all the way through. Basically we come out at the end and we said, if you young carer, explain to them that you can get help, and there's websites and there's leaflets. We did leaflets underneath the chairs, which they could pick up and they could read, and some people did. also pick up the leaflets so they could read it, and I read throughout we showed how difficult it was. Did you meet the aims that you set for yourself? The aim I set for myself was to, like, increase the character, and I think I did throughout the process. Like, I increased it a bit, like, about the character, and like, I think I developed him even more throughout the piece. I developed him throughout the piece. How? By looking into research and characters and research into young carers and how they would act and how they would be. Did you receive any feedback? Was to say stuff differently. I think I got some feedback of my peers to say something differently, or to be a bit more quicker on the scene, or be a bit more quicker with saying something, or change the way I was stood or something. Change the way I stood. Conclusion. If you could do the project again, what changes would you make and developments would you make? I would try and changes. I'll try and go on a stage of trying to get everyone to not laugh at the end, because it seemed to we got halfway through it and we laughed, or like one bit it just turned into where everyone just gave up on their character, and then they just like they would just give up, and then they would just turn back to themselves. Like it went like a comedy once. And if I do it again, I would change that and try and stop that probably, and try and stop everyone from laughing on stage at once. But we got that sorted out. Do you think the project as a whole was successful? I think it was. I think it got a message across. I think people, I bet they know about young carers now than they did when they didn't come in. I think it was informational. I think it got the right points across, that it was struggling for them, and that they should understand, and this is what they're going through, and if someone's going through that, then you can understand that. And I think that's why it was successful. What did you gain from the experience? From the experience, I gained a bit about information about young carers. I gained a little bit about how to keep my character on stage. I gained a little bit about mostly about information about young carers and how they, generally are, and it was informative to me. So, and it should be really informative to the audience. Okay, that is my critical reflection. Thank you.